Hello everyone, I'm Yujin Nan, a graduate student from Yonsei University. Today I want to talk about my paper rereading Biopolitics, Asian Americans and Queerness, and Larissa Lai's Sawfish Girl. Sawfish Girl is a science fiction written by Chinese-Canadian writer Larissa Lai, published in 2002. It addresses the issues of race, gender, sexuality, capitalism, and biopolitics. First, I analyze the representations of biopolitics in the novel, then I explore the representations of Asian Americans and queerness in the novel. In conclusion, I examine the significance and meaning of biopolitics in comprehending the mechanics of power and marginalization of one's identity and the resistance to one's agency. The Biopolitics in Sawfish Girl. Biopolitics is the legal sovereign power that takes and gives life. Foucault defines biopower as the power to make live and let die, which protects collective life by putting a few to die. Foucault and Giorgio Agamben have provided abundant discussion on the definition and use of biopower. Through the lens of biopower, this paper examines the marginalized individuals placed in the crevices of power subject to life and death and the possibility of agency and a reimagination of a new life. Serendipity is a walled city formed by corporate powers. The citizens of Serendipity are forbidden to access the land called the unregulated zone, in which non-citizens reside and are governed by Serendipity. The separation between Serendipity and the unregulated zone signifies the boundaries of defining citizenship, which Agamben calls zoe, the simple state of being alive, and bios, the life within the police or city. Miranda's mother conceives her after eating a durian from the unregulated zone. Miranda has a body odor that smells of cat pee and pepper and durian. Her body odor is deemed a dangerous and abnormal condition because it not only marks her family as suspicious but also as inferior, since the janitors whose status is illegal are considered the source of a disease. The contagion is called the dreaming disease and drowning disease, which is unauthorized by corporations. In this sense, the disease can be interpreted as a space of exception that is excluded but included in the society of serendipity. Agamben argues that the space of exception is what is excluded in the exception maintains itself in relation to the rule in the form of the rule's suspension. The non-human clones are homines caesari. Agamben uses the concept of homo sacer to examine the form of politics that includes life through its exclusion. The homo sacer, a sacred man, is someone who may be killed but not sacrificed. Miranda encounters Evie, a non-human clone created by Dr. Rudy Flowers. Evie can be interpreted as a homo sacer, since she is an alien that is unprotected by serendipity and can be subject to death regarding her expendability as a factory worker. Dr. Rudy Flowers presents a model of sovereignty. He is a doctor who is known as a god to many people, dissecting organs from afflicted bodies of the disease and creating illegal non-human clones for the city's corporate factories. He has the power over the bodies of Sonyas to decide their life and death. The Sonyas are the non-human clones aforementioned. According to Roberto Esposito, the Nazi doctors performed their therapeutic mission that they turned themselves into the executioners of those they considered either non-essential or harmful to improving public health. Genocide was the result not of an absence but of a presence of a medical ethics perverted into its opposite. By this account, the objective of the Nazi doctor in preserving the health of Germans is the reason for the slaughters. Dr. Flowers, in this respect, can be read as the doctor who kills the Sonyas to improve the public health of the city. The location of his clinic and his conversation with Evie depict the ambivalence of the sovereign that is both inside and outside of juridical order. His clinic is in the unregulated zone outside the city and excluded from the law. Flowers creates and defines the very space in which the juridico-political order can have validity. Nua's experience of human life makes her a homo sacer. She looks into the windows of the factories that burned with the low, unnatural light of nocturnal labor. Out of desperation, she thinks that the labor would be suitable for her and selfish girl to make a living, not noticing the devastated circumstances of the laborers, their eyes growing dimmer, or notice the older woman, nearly blind, wasting away in the dark corners of the factory, mixing the colors and wheezing in reaction to the bright, powdery, dry chemical form of the dyes. The factories in the scene can also be read through Foucault's discipline. Discipline produces subjected and practiced bodies, docile bodies. It dissociates power from the body, it turns it into an aptitude, a capacity which it seeks to increase, it reverses the course of energy, and turns it into a relation of strict subjection. Through working in the factories, the selfish girl became a docile body by working in the toy factory. She works in the factory, crouched in dim lights. Losing her eyesight due to the harsh working conditions. As she attached the parts of the toy, as described, her labor in the factory is surveilled through discipline that requires care and effort. The representations of Asian Americans and queerness. In Selfish Girl, the status of factory laborers is reminiscent of Asian immigrants who immigrate to the U.S. and the history of coolie laborers. Their alienated bodies are mere property, and the contagion further marks their bodies as diseased, and in contrast to the healthy bodies of full citizens that comprise the community. America marking Asians as a yellow peril is similar to this. It also has connotations of how biopolitics works on bodies by distinguishing who does not deserve to live. The narrative's bifurcated structure of the two characters draws on discrimination and violence subjected to racialized bodies in different timelines, signifying the experience of marginalization of Asian Americans. Miranda, Evie, Noir, and Selfish Girl in both narratives resemble Asian American identities. Miranda and Selfish Girl are marked by smell, Evie is labeled as non-human, and Noir is identified by her foreign language. Minjung Kim and Ng-Y Chung define American Orientalism as sustained by the notion of Western white power as a means to justify and exert its cultural domination over Asian and Asian American. These cultural representations led to anti-Chinese fervor and the establishment of the first Chinese Exclusion Act in 1882. It can be argued that Lai subverts this representation of Asian immigrants through the structure of the novel and her transgressive characters that project a new identity. The meaning of queer is a word embracing many meanings. The traditional meaning of queer is gestures or analytical models which dramatize incoherencies in the allegedly stable relations between chromosomal sex, gender, and sexual desire. On the other hand, it signifies the rejection of a here and now and an insistence on potentiality or concrete possibility for another world. The narrative is filled with themes of queerness and the breaking between the dichotomy of human and non-human, man and woman, and citizen and alien. Evie represents a queer figure in terms of her race, gender, and sexuality. She is a new life form created by the genes of humans and carp. Her existence between the human and the non-human shows her fluid identity. The durian is a significant symbol of queerness. Durian, the tropical fruit with its pungent smell and taste, is polarizing. It transgresses the boundaries between humans and plants, which points to their queerness. The queer connection between fruit and woman shows the diffuse boundaries formed between humans and plants. Lai uses the queerness of the durian to embrace the differing timelines, locations, and identities. The stinkiness of the durian is a symbol of queerness. By examining the novel by using Agamben's Homo Sacer, we can comprehend the power structures of sovereignty and bare life, whose life and death depends on the state's power. Agamben's space of exception lets us explore the in-between space that functions inside and outside the law. By tracing the portrayals of Asian Americans and queerness in the novel, we engage in the questions of identity that address the issues of race, gender, and sexuality. By comprehending the marginalized identity and retelling the future of that identity, it touches on the significance of representations in works that portray gendered and racialized beings. Biopolitics is significant in the context of Larissa Lai's Selfish Girl because it enables us to interpret how characters navigate and resist the biopolitical forces that seek to control their bodies, lives, and identities. Biopolitics is deeply connected to Asian American racism and queerness in the sense that Asian Americans and queer identities are continuously located in the realm of the Zoe and are forced to become docile bodies by the discipline of society. Moreover, both hybrid identities are inside and outside the sovereign power, forming a space of exception. Jane.